That's right. Welcome in. Welcome back to a good news for Notre Dame fans edition of the Always Irish Show. As always, thank you for being here. You can find this program on the website known as YouTube. Do hit subscribe if you haven't already. Give the video a thumbs up if you approve of its content upon its completion. Hit the notifications tab. You'll be alerted the second any new Always Irish material drops. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at JKZND4. Emails, alwaysIrishND@gmail.com. Audio only. Anywhere you like me, you can get me. Whether the message you want to send is mean or nice or mean, you call 312-900-8815. Always Irish Radio. So, here's the deal. Last week, I put out a show covering how far, in my opinion, based on the factual evidence I've seen, just how far Notre Dame is in certain areas away from being elite. It wasn't a fun show to do. I hated doing it. But the truth was the truth. Looking at where we are, where we need to be. Very, very good trying to get to elite. And that was a tough show to have to do. But I told you guys, even if it's bad news or it hurts, I'm always going to come on here and give you the truth as I see it. You could disagree with my truth. A lot of things I go over are evidence and fact-based, in my opinion. I'm very careful with what I put out for those reasons. Okay, so we did that last week, and we had to go over some harsh truths about just how far we are in certain position groups from getting where we want to go. I wanted to balance that out with a good news show because certain things have taken place since I put out the bad news show that makes me very encouraged that we will have a fast turnaround here and a faster time frame of getting from very good to elite than what it could be. And that's really, really good news. So I wanted to cover what items have come into the news since the last show that make me encouraged we could tighten up this window. All right. Now, here's the first thing. And this hurts because it affects me too. I don't think we being the collective Notre Dame fan base, get to have it all. Who the hell are we to expect everything to turn up aces and perfect when you're in a situation with a coaching change when the year's not over, mid-year? Not common at all that happens. Who the hell are we in this fan base to expect everything to turn up perfect during a transition this large? We wanted to lose no recruits from the existing class we were trying to hold together, win the Fiesta Bowl on the fly with the staff in flux, have the perfect staff lined up right away for Marcus. That's asking a lot. That's asking a lot. That would have been home runs across the board in every single way. And that's what we wanted to see. We didn't get all that we wanted out of this transition. But what we did get were the most critical and important items. Freeman, Reese, Bayless, the number 7 recruiting class, even while losing 3 guys that were very highly thought of that we thought we were going to get. I talked about the timeline to elite. That timeline became a little shorter this week, and that's fantastic. So let's go over why the timeline got shortened. And I hope that previous point makes sense. Like, who are we to get everything to turn out perfect? In the middle of one of these transitions, as awkward as the timing was, we ended up way ahead. So if I have to lose this stupid Fiesta Bowl with everything in flux, lose a couple recruits, but gain what I think we're going to gain from the Freeman era overall, it's a no-brainer. There just isn't enough time for everybody to see that yet. It's a no-brainer to sacrifice what we've lost in this transition for what we're going to gain long term. I fully believe that. I believe that. So why is the timeline a little bit shortened from my bad news episode? Great job landing Northwestern safety Brandon Joseph. We're losing an All-American safety, but we're gaining one, and it's a huge position of need. A guy everybody wanted to get. It just so happens the Northwestern academics and all that line up perfect for this to be a Notre Dame no-brainer. They got it done. Great, great job. That is fantastic. Now, because I'm me, here's what I'm going to say. I just said, you're losing an All-American safety and you're bringing one in. That's fantastic. You know what's even better than that? Having an All-American safety in your program and then adding a second one into your program. So now at the same time, you have two All-American safeties playing defense for you at the same time. That's what I need. So this is a baby step, but that's where I need to get, is having a couple of those guys ranging back there at the same time. Oh, John, you're asking for a lot. You're goddamn right I am, because I'm talking about winning playoff games here, not the tent bowl. Okay? Not the Camping World Bowl. That always kills me. Oh, John, you're asking for a lot. Yeah, because winning it all is hard. What do you not get? It isn't supposed to be easy. So, yeah, when I go over these things in these shows, I have people, oh, you're asking for a lot. Yes, I am. Because it takes a lot to win. Shouldn't be a hard concept. But I get pushback every time I do this. You're asking for a lot. Yes, I am. Get it done. So that's number one. Good job getting this kid. My original question is, if he's so smart, went to Northwestern, he should have been in Notre Dame before that. For multiple years. Anyways, I'm yelling, but it's good news, okay? Only I can end up yelling when I'm presenting what I'm calling good news. But here we are. So, great job with him. That's number one. Number two, Foskey. Both Adamiola brothers all returning. Big, big, big help for the defensive line going into next year. This has been a strength for us the past couple years. This allows that to continue. It's a huge deal that those guys are coming back, especially Foskey, going to be a special NFL player. So that's number two. That holds the strength of your defense and tethers it together for next year. That's a huge win, huge deal. Number three, the staff is starting to come together quite nicely. Harry, Bayless, Reese, Laurinaitis, Brian Mason from Cincinnati. I can't wait to see what's going to happen at wide receiver and defensive coordinator. But here's the thing. So far, Freeman's been able to surround himself with this initial staff at Notre Dame with guys that he knows and trusts or knows and trusts or just knows or trusts. Nobody's coming into this circle from the outside blind. These are all guys that Marcus has connections with. Laurinaitis is his best friend. Mason on the staff at Cincinnati. He already obviously knows Bayless and Reese are in the program. Harry, he's heard from all those guys what Harry could do in terms of making an offensive line mean, which we need more of, mean. I need everybody that plays the offensive line for Notre Dame to be like Quentin Nelson and want to kill every single person, every single play. I know that's not realistic. You got to be a certain type of guy to live that way. Want to be a murderer out there? I need them. I need everybody on the offensive line to want to be a murderer. So that's what I need. But my point with this is he's building a staff with guys he can trust. And this gets overlooked a lot. And I'm going to highlight this example. I think it was before the Fiesta Bowl, Charlie Weiss did a radio interview with Notre Dame beat writer Eric Hansen. I'm sure all of you know his work, longtime guy. And they were asking Charlie Weiss about coaching transitions and how hard that is and building your first staff and how the window of time to do that is so small because everybody wants to fill out their staff. Charlie said, because of the timing being a little later in the process and Charlie coming from the NFL and not college, he told Eric Hansen, Charlie Weiss built his entire first staff based on phone interviews, all with guys he never knew before, and was going off recommendations of a friend of Charlie knows this guy might be good, interested in Notre Dame. He built his first full staff in Notre Dame, not knowing anybody, off recommendations from people he knows. Phone interviews, no actual history, never met these people till they showed up to work for him day one. He went on to say that you cannot measure how far behind the 8 ball that put him before he even got started. Because before you could worry about the team and all that, he had to figure out his staff, get to learn the personalities, get to learn who's good at what, strengths and weaknesses, who you could trust, who's a dog on the recruiting trail, who's dogging it on the recruiting trail. Those are two different things, very different things. So Charlie said he felt like he was behind before he ever got started because of that dynamic behind the scenes. And nobody else would know that. He rolls into year one, that his staff's his staff. You think he has all this continuity, knows all these guys, they've been working together. Nope. Nope. So when you compare Charlie Weiss's initial introduction process to Notre Dame to Marcus Freeman, Marcus Freeman's 200 miles ahead of where Charlie was. That's a big deal. Now, while I'm excited with what we've done so far, and I'm on board with all these hires, defensive coordinator and wide receiver are huge. Offensive line's a big deal to me, obviously, and it is for all Notre Dame people. This wide receiver defense situation has to be handled well. Wide receiver, however you do this, you want to move the running back coach to wide receiver and bring in a running back coach. If you're going to do that, maneuvering, whatever. Whoever this guy is that's coming in for that position on offense needs to be a dog recruiter. And I know that's Marcus's priority, but especially with what Notre Dame's wide receiver situation is, that guy's got to be an elite recruiter, whoever it is, wherever he's coming from. Has to be, to help dig out of this wide receiver hole that we're in. Now, you want to talk about the defense overall, the defense coordinator position. I believe Elston was in charge of the play calling in the Fiesta. Every single thing he dialed up was the wrong thing, wrong package, wrong time, wrong play. So if that was a tryout, didn't go well. Did not go well. Every time he dialed something up, it was the wrong time to dial it up, and we got burnt. So there's still work to be done on this staff, but overall, it's off to a really comfortable, good, encouraging start. I wanted to highlight the Charlie Weiss situation to see what the other side of this coin is, and it's not a comfortable place to be and operate, all right? So you got the safety coming in that fills that gap at a position in need. Foskey, the Ademiola's coming back. Griffith coming back. These guys are helping at positions in need as well. The staff's coming together well with people Marcus trusts and he believes they can perform. I'm all about it. Now, here's the thing, and this is the most important part of this whole discussion. None of what I just went over happens unless people liked Marcus Freeman and believe fully in the direction this is all going in. You do not get players that we are talking about coming back when they don't have to unless they believe in this guy, love this guy, and want to play for this guy for a full year under his full tutelage, not Kelly, and he's just there, but with this guy in charge. The returning D-line production alone makes me feel better about things in our timeline to elite. None of that happens if the vibe and the mood isn't right and positive and the arrow's pointing up and people just want to be around and with Marcus. In the long run, losing those 3 recruits we lost in the Fiesta Bowl is going to seem like a very small price to pay for where I think we're going to end up with Marcus in charge a handful of years from now. Okay? So yes, there are some challenges that are going to take some time to overrun and outdo what Kelly did, but this turnaround doesn't have to take forever, and there are encouraging signs here. So short term, number one, Marcus, finish filling out this staff with teachers and recruiters and developers. Number two, once you get that staff situated and you have a good feel of who could do what, be trusted with what, who has a more, it's easy to say everybody needs to be a dog on the recruiting trail. That's easy to say. But think about it. Everybody might, let's say you have 5 guys and they all put in the exact same amount of effort in recruiting. There's still going to be certain guys that are naturally better at the delivery than others. I understand that. But the work has to be there. The work ethic has to be there. Okay? Recruit, 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 recruit. It still blows my mind. Still blows my mind. I have done this show multiple years to put it in people's head. I took a breakdown of the last 10 national champions and then averaged out their average recruiting. Listen to me. Their average recruiting classes for the 4 to 5 year window leading up to them winning a title. Top 5. Top 5. That is not an opinion. That is not John making up things to fit a narrative. That is not me going out of my way to make Notre Dame look good or bad to prove a point about Kelly. No. The facts are the facts. If you want to win a national title in the modern era, you need to average a top 5 recruiting class and have a few of them stacked before you get to your title year to win one. Not an opinion. Fact. Not an opinion. Fact. It takes top 5 talent to win a championship. Okay? Just does. Now, the closest 2 outliers to what I just said are Clemson had a couple recruiting classes that were double digits. They also had the best quarterback in America. So that's my answer to that. If there's any recruit nicks and they're going to come back and say, John, that Clemson class was double digits leading him. Yep, but they had a generational quarterback as a freshman. Best quarterback in America. That throws out the Clemson outlier, so don't bring it to me. If you want Notre Dame to do that, fine, but you got to give me the best quarterback in America. And the rest of the recruits can be top 10 or 12 ranked, not top 5. But I need to have the best quarterback in America to make that work. Notre Dame's not going to have that. The other only outlier would be Auburn. Same exact deal. Cam Newton. So you're giving me the best quarterback in America. So you need overall top 5 talent to win a championship, or you could have 10 or 12 or 13th ranked classes, but you also need to have the number 1 quarterback in America. So that's where I'm going to leave that. So number 1, fill out the staff. Number 2, recruit. Number 3, and I genuinely mean this. Genuinely mean this. I hope sometime in the near future, Marcus Freeman has some time to be able to take a weekend or a couple days somewhere and just call timeout and take a deep breath. Everything has been such a fast-paced whirlwind since Kelly made his announcement for LSU. It's been go, 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 do, this, that. On a plane here, press conference here, interview there, fill out a staff, do all this, prep for the bowl game, all of it. Everything you can name all at once. I think it'd do Marcus some good to find a day or two to be able to unwind, sit back, maybe with a blank piece of paper, and really sit there, soak in all that has happened in the last month, and really be able to hammer out some top-end priorities and figure out allocation of resources of his time or whatever. I just think that's beneficial. And as a person, not as a coach, not as the Notre Dame coach, as a person, as a human, his life's been turned upside down the last month. I want him to have the ability to chill out for a little bit and reanalyze exactly where he's at and prioritize this spring. I don't want my man to get overwhelmed. So I hope he has time to do that. So overall, even though there's still a lot of work to be done in key areas on the staff and with recruiting and bodies at these positions, the energy is good. The vibe is good. The Fiesta Bowl shouldn't change that. The arrow on this whole Freeman operation still pointing straight up. The fact that we got guys coming back, guys that want to leave other schools and come here, good coaches that want to be near Marcus, everything's trending up. This was a good piece of news for Notre Dame this week. All the stuff we went over. Things are going to be just fine. I almost just want to fast forward 3 or 4 years from now and see where this program's at. I expect by 3 to 4 years, top 5 talent at Notre Dame. Not one recruiting class, multiple top 5s stacked on each other. That seems like a lot, but with Freeman, it's realistic. And more importantly, it's needed. You're not winning a championship without it, no matter who the head coach is. Top 5 recruiting classes. Got to have them. Gonna get them. Let's go.